Marwan, it's great to have you here today. Thank you for joining us. So can you tell us a little bit more about your background and your journey in MedTech?
I started in engineering, went to University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. I moved on to the business side, did my MBA in finance and strategy. My background is really the product development and then adding the business side of it so that I can be a well-rounded entrepreneur around the different technologies that we're developing.
So tell me a little more about the environment today for developing a medical device.
So on the product development side, we have a lot of resources that are out there helping us achieve our goals. On the business side, the issue that we have is there's a scarcity of funding going into our companies. So with that, we have to be very careful about who we hire on the product development, how we spend the money, and how we interact with different suppliers and service providers.
So what is it like developing a medical device today in light of increased regulatory requirements and increased clinical evidence requirements?
It's very difficult because the regulatory requirements are changing. We have to be very strategic about what to develop, how to raise the money for the project, for the development, how long will it take. We're always looking for efficiencies in our development so we can shorten the timeline. And of course, with the regulatory aspects, especially in Europe, as an example with MDR, things are changing. So how do we navigate all of that? And navigation means time to us, and time means money for us. We would have to rely on people that have strong expertise in those markets and strong expertise in their domain to help us move it forward.
So the space you're in, drug-coated balloons, is a crowded one.
Yeah.
There are already many on the market.
Yeah.
So why develop another one?
There are many in the market in Europe, but not that many in the US. US is a large market, and because of the FDA barrier of entry, high quality of the data and the results that they require, there's no one in here except one clinical trial being conducted today. So there's a huge opportunity to serve the US patients by having a top-notch drug-coated balloon. Our technology is the next generation. We have solved some of the limitations of the current drug-coated balloons, and we bring in our nanotechnology, multiple drugs into the market to serve better the physician and deliver just the right amount of drug into the tissue without having sort of a shotgun approach.
So in your experience, you've been in the industry a while. Without giving specifics, give me some examples of how things can really go wrong in developing a medical device.
There's a lot of things go wrong before you see the good ones. So a lot of examples. So where things can go wrong in a medical device. The worst thing is when you have a bad outcome on the bench, on your R&D and your development, and because you fall in love with your technology or you fall in love with your device, but you already know that this is not gonna go anywhere. You just keep going. You keep hiding, you keep justifying to yourself. And I think that's when things go really wrong because you spend a lot of money, your team doesn't trust you anymore, you're hiding the truth. And then remember, you never develop a product just by yourself. We're a village. There are a whole bunch of people developing that product. So you owe it to your teammates, you owe it to your team members to be, truthful about what you see. The other thing that a lot of people do is lack of evidence. I always tell my engineering team, bring me evidence-based information. When they tell me something is not gonna work or it works, well, okay, go on the bench, provide me the fact that it does not work, or provide me the fact that it works. 90% of the time when they tell me it does not work, they try it, they set up the experiment, and what happens, they find solution as to why it didn't work.
As an entrepreneur, there are many businesses you could choose that would be much less risk, much faster rewards, much greater rewards than developing a medical device. So why are you choosing medical devices? Of all the things that you could be doing, why this space?
I think one word, passion. We do this because we want to help people. We do this because it's important to further the healthcare of any human being. And for us, it's very, very important to be part of that.
There are many consulting companies that can do the assessment and the planning and then hand that off to a lab or a CRO to do the execution. But with the APEX program that we offer, we can do all of that. So as an APEX program client, you have one point of contact at NAMSA to be your leader for everything you're doing with us across regulatory, biocompatibility, preclinical, strategic, etc.
Yeah.
How does that improve the overall efficiency of the operations of your company?
Your APEX program is very important to us because that assessment, that product strategy comes from you, but you cannot give us that strategy without a thorough understanding of what we're trying to achieve.